Scott's Geography Notebook. Did you want to try saying it?
Da, da, da.
No, not chicken viva. Oh, chocolate cake. That sounds good. Oh, there's a recipe on the back. Thank Dad. Peanut butter cookie. Oh, those will be good too. No, not today. Chili. No. Crepes. No. Oh, sugar cookies. Now, that one's been used a few times. Chocolate. No, not right now. Oh, this is what we need. We need the recipe card for how to make a cloud. Because today we're going to be talking about how to make a cloud. This recipe card has a few great things on it. What it tells us is that in order to make a cloud, we need to get a few ingredients. The ingredients that we need to get includes humidity and dust. So let's talk a little bit about those guys first. The first thing that we need is humidity. Humidity is going to be water as a gas, and we call that water as a gas water vapor, right? So we've got water as a liquid, that's going to be water. We got water as a solid, that's going to be ice. Here's water vapor, and we refer to water that's floating around in the atmosphere as humidity. So we have our water vapor, and it's floating around, and these are going to be the free little oxygens with the two little hydrogens. These are free little water molecules that have broken free of the bonds of liquid water where it had to stick with all of its other friends, and they just kind of float around here with the two little hydrogens all kind of around. Free little molecules, and they're everywhere. Okay? Now, some places we have higher humidity, some places we have lower humidity, but humidity is just going to be these water vapor that are all floating around. The other ingredient that it talks about that we need is dust. And the reason that we need dust is that as this water starts to condense, it's going to need to stick to something. And so that thing that it's going to stick to are all these tiny little particles. And I hate to tell you this too, but there's all sorts of weird little dust particles floating all around. Okay? These dust particles, sometimes, sure, you're going to have air that's very, very clean, but you could have wind blowing through a field, and that's going to be causing the dust. All of these guys have another name. They're called the condensation nucleus, or it's going to be what the water condenses onto. So we've got our two ingredients. We've got dust. Some places we have more, some places we have less, but pretty much everywhere we have some. And we need humidity. No, we need humidity. And that's going to be water as a vapor, and that's these free guys that are floating around. When you exhale, you send water vapor into the air. You can't see it. These guys are invisible. And now what we need to do is we need to make our cloud. So we've got dust, pretty sure about that, and we've got our humidity. Good. Cool. Well, we're going to combine them in a parcel of air. So this room that we're in, that could be a parcel of air, or outside it could be a parcel of air. The parcel that's sitting over the parking lot, I suppose that could be a parcel of air. And then, cool, well, it's going to be everywhere. And now we need to make it to get colder. Well, there's a few ways that we can make air colder. The first thing that we could do is we could, making colder air, is we could take the air right where it is and make it colder, right? So when the sun goes away, that's going to be making things colder. The ground could be cold, right? Cold ground. At night, that happens. And that causes this overlying air to get colder. Air gets colder. We're going to see this in the wintertime here in the Central Valley. We call that air. It's a cloud that is down on the surface. That's going to be our fog. So this is one way that we can do it. That's going to form fog right there. Cool. The other way that we can do it is we can find air that has a lot of humidity and that has dust, or maybe it's got little salt particles that are floating around there. Okay, like at the ocean. And then if we take that and we move it from one spot to another. So we're going to have humidity, humid, and salty air. And we move that to another area where the water is colder. That's what we see along our coast, and that's going to be causing our coastal fog. Okay. When we take this condition and we move it to a colder area, then that's going to be making it colder. So this is going to be fog as well. That's our coastal fog. Cool. Then the other place where we can make air colder is by sending air up. Say, if we take our air parcel that has all of the little air masses, and it's going to have the water mixed in there, along with the oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, nitrogen, yeah, that's the other one, and other trace gases. And we're going to have some particles of dust there, and we send it up, it's got room to grow. And as it grows, then those same molecules that are there are not as close together. And if it grows some more, then we have even more distance between those. And so as it rises, it gets colder, right? That's going to be a low pressure system down here on the surface. There's a few things that we'll talk about in the next little presentation of ways that we can send air to go higher. All right, where's that recipe card? So we have our dust or maybe salt particles or other things like that. We're going to have our humidity. Some places, maybe a little bit more than others. The desert is not going to have a lot of water vapor there. So even if we send the air up or the ground gets cold, not going to happen. Cool. Combining ingredients in a parcel of air. Well, that kind of happens on its own. And then we make it colder by either making the ground cold or moving it to a colder area, like over colder water, or we send it up. Send the parcel up through the atmosphere, where the air is rarefied and there's room to grow.